You're listening to another episode of the Top 8 podcast. We have Ohrion back with us for this episode. Woo-woo! Which we're excited about. We are doing something a little bit different today because we're going to be talking about our favorite bands or artists that don't fall into the typical stuff that we listen to.
Yeah, we thought that we've talked about our favorite bands for a long time. I know Ohrion reacts to a lot of his favorite bands. You know, you get typical genres with the kind of content that we and you make.
Yeah.
So it might be cool to branch out and talk about stuff that we listen to outside of the typical genre.
At the end of the day, we're music lovers and we listen to a lot of different things, right? Just because we have our niche of things that we really focus and talk about that we really do love, and that's probably our main loves. I don't know about you, but the main thing I'm listening to is the stuff that I'm making content about. But at the same time, every now and then you might catch me listening to Call Me Maybe, okay?
Yeah.
And there's Friday, could I get down?
Not that one.
No, probably not. But that's my Friday hype song.
Yeah. So we are going through our top 8 not most influential, but our favorite bands and artists that don't fall into sort of the metalcore, metal, pop punk, emo world. So
I think you're going to be surprised by my number 1. I'm just going to put it out there.
I think you guys will be surprised probably by my entire list.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think we're all going to be surprised here, and I think that's the cool thing about it. Why don't we start with Ohrion again? Who is your number 8 spot?
I will tell you who my number 8 spot is, but I just want to say as well, before we get into this, I think this is a lot of fun just because in the YouTube world, my niche is so metal.
Yeah.
And so that era, where it's fun to kind of dive down into what I can. Cause I don't react to some of these bands because of algorithm reasons. So it's cool to show people what I'm listening to kind of outside, and I'm very excited to kind of tell people what's up
and
an
audience and to know.
Yes, exactly.
Beyond just breakdowns and motionless and white,
exactly.
And all of the other things that you normally react to.
Yes, number 8 coming in, and I'm gonna say this is just more of an influential kind of era for me, but I don't listen to the actual band, but this was okay, yeah, sorry. But Guitar Hero world, I feel it was just an era where it got me into a whole different kind of heavier metal, softer stuff, but yeah, power metal for sure, but less rock, more talk by Freeze Pop. But that was
even know who this is.
It was an electronic do 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 do. It's just a weird electronic kind of flowy poppy song that I just absolutely loved, that kind of opened my ears to different genre of music at that time. I don't know, I was 18 when that came out. That's my number 8 right now. Guitar Hero era. I mean even Every Time I Die was on that too. Yeah. So that's what kind of got me into the metal realm too. So that's why it was a big part of my life.
Entry point for a lot of people.
Yeah. Lamb of God, Slam of God.
Hero gets a lot of credit for a lot of people getting into rock music.
Yes.
And a lot of the bands that were on there, honestly. You talk to a lot of people, especially people that are probably slightly younger than us, because I feel by the time Guitar Hero came out, I think majority of the people around, I'm assuming we're all around the same age, but I feel I was already sort of into it, but I saw my younger brother and his friends and them, they started getting into it a lot because of Guitar Hero, because they were sort of around 9 or 10 when it came out, and it introduced them at that young age, Whereas I was already 14, 15 in high school. We were having drinking parties while we were playing guitar.
Yes.
So,
getting high.
Yeah. All right, my turn.
Yeah. I'm going to play this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what you got?
My number 8 is Childish Gambino.
Oh, nice.
What the fuck is
because
that?
The internet.
Donald Glover. It's his rap moniker. But Donald Glover, with Childish Gambino, there's also just such a variety of different sounds with each album. I feel he could do an Eras tour, with each era of Childish Gambino. And not just that, I think Donald Glover's one of those guys where any sort of thing that he touches turns into gold with his TV show Atlanta. And if you're watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Prime right now, like that's a great show. Like everything that he's done throughout the span of his career, Community, like everything he's done, he's just been great at. And I'm just such a big fan of him. And so, you know, he's very experimental with his music, with his TV, everything. I'm just a big fan of him in general, so I put him on the list there.
Interesting.
Yeah, I love that pick. Honestly, Bonfire was like one of my favorite tracks.
Insane. I love it.
Oh, Ryan over here like,
yeah. We're going to play it.
Yeah, I got to hear this.
That record on your way home.
I figured that we were going to have a bunch of those where it's just like,
It's going to make it interesting, though.
My number 8 is Post Malone.
Oh, shit. Nice.
Yeah, hey. One of my favorite, like, I don't know, like newer age rappers. I listened to a lot of like old school rap when I was growing up. But Beer Bongs and Bentleys was like one of my favorite albums.
Perfect album.
Yeah, honestly.
Perfect album.
Like all the rappers that I picked to be on my list, there's a decent amount of them because I had a really like strong rap phase. It's just like whoever had my favorite album in that time, and this was one of my favorites. Rockstar obviously is iconic. Psycho.
Did you go to the Post Malone concert?
No, but I
no.
went.
I went to the Hollywood's Bleeding tour.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Yeah, amazing.
I don't think I've
the entire time.
That's sick.
I don't think I've ever been to like a concert like that before.
Dude, I
like,
went to my first rap concert in like 5 years this past year, and it's the artist that is going to be on my list later on. And it was like, oh my God, I forgot what I was missing.
Oh, shit.
Super cool.
I saw Kendrick a few years ago too, or a year or two ago, and that was probably my most expensive concert. But I was in the nosebleeds, and I spent hundreds of dollars to be in the nosebleeds. It was insane.
I thought that was gonna be like Blink-182 or something.
My most expensive concert was later on my list.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like rap concerts can be great.
Yeah. For sure.
What do you have at number 7?
Number 7, I have Skrillex.
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck yeah. Like me growing up.
I have Skrillex later in my list.
Oh, okay, yeah. Skrillex was really sweet. Like just the EDM, the different noises. Like my ADHD-ness is just like, it needs shiny things everywhere. And I feel like Skrillex just does. And coming from the alt world of Sonny Moore and From First to Last, like it just made sense in a way. Like I wanted to support in the same way, but like it just sounded so fun. And the music videos, the music videos that came along with that, like I just fell in love with a lot of like Boomerang with the kids growing up with superpowers and shit, and like going with the song. Skrillex just had like a really good part of influence on me for like how I edit my videos and how it goes along with the videos and stuff like that. So I think that's just a good top 8 for me for sure.
Love that.
That's number 7.
He also timed switching from First to Last into Skrillex really well.
He hit that dubstep craze right at the I don't know like who like started the dubstep, but like he like was my pinnacle of dubstep.
Yeah.
For me, I think
Skrillex was the genre.
It was like he was the first that I heard to do it, and then I feel like everybody tried sort of copying that. I don't
Scary
even
Monsters and Nice Sprites EP and the Bangarang EP that were like this is my introduction to like electronic music in general.
My number 7, I kind of put them. I know we're sort of going away from the rock and the emo and metal and all that, but I think that they're more of like a pop rock group, so they're kind of like that. But I put the Arkells.
Ooh, Hamilton Bear.
I love them. Seen them a ton of times.
I've seen them a few times,
and they're really fun. And like I said, they're a rock band, but they're also kind of pop rock, so it's not the usual thing.
It's not like an alt
era. But they're incredibly fun. I like, they've got enough emotion in their songs that I can relate to their songs. I can feel something while listening to it. And yeah, I got to support the Canadians at some point,
I mean, I love the Arkells, but like I have like almost like a weird, like I used to play in bands. I've shared stages with them before they were big. And when they had their first music video come out with like The Boss Is Coming, I was so fucking mad. I'm like, this band's fucking popping. And that was like way back in the day. And I saw that, I'm like, yeah, they're probably going to go somewhere, and they fucking did.
Back in like 2014, 2015, I was living up in Thunder Bay, Ontario, and they came through, and it was like a random Wednesday night, middle of the winter, like minus 50 degrees Celsius. Like it was like freezing cold. It was like, Arkells are in town. It's a Wednesday night in Thunder Bay in the middle of the winter. What are we going to do? Like, yeah, let's go see the Arkells, right? And like, absolute dive bar that they played in. But it was like one of the most fun concerts I've been at.
Yeah.
Sitting in this little dive bar of like 100 people in there, seeing them on this stage that was like half a foot up off the ground. And then within a year or two, they were just absolutely everywhere. And then it was like going from that to seeing them on big stages, selling out big crowds and all of that. Like it's just been really cool to kind of see them go and do that and see them blow up has been absolutely insane and fun. I mean, like it's very well deserved because they're very talented.
Their music is catchy. Their marketing strategy is insanely good. They're doing a fantastic job as a band. I'm proud of those guys, especially representing my hometown, Hamilton. So
I didn't know you were from Hamilton.
Yeah.
Nice. My number 7 is this independent rapper Tech Nine. I don't know if
Yeah. Yo, Ronnie Radke had him on stage not too long ago. I haven't seen like the actual performance, but
yeah, I saw him. I've seen him live a couple times. He puts on a crazy show.
Yeah.
They like him and his whole group of independent artists, like they call it strange music. They really like perfected like the speed rapping.
yeah.
Which I absolutely loved. I feel like whatever genre of music I'm listening to, I tend towards like the aggressive side of it. Like rap, I'm like fast, aggressive rap. EDM music, I'm like heavy, aggressive dubstep. So like Tech Nine was kind of perfect for me, and he's done some like random collaborations with like Corey Taylor and stuff like that too. So yeah, he's
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that one.
With this being said, can we please talk about something here? Do you guys both know who Killer Mike is?
Oh yeah, for sure.
No.
Run the jewels.
You don't know Killer Mike? Okay.
No.
I was like having a moment because I teach radio and creative content at Mohawk College in Hamilton, actually.
Oh, no
A
shit.
couple of my students went on the radio talking about how they didn't know who Killer Mike was. And I was like, but they were talking about rap and rappers and like how they love rap. I'm like, but you don't know who Killer Mike is. On the Jewel, like, Killer Mike.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm happy that I'm like, am I going crazy? Is he not as popular as I thought he was? Or like,
To be fair, I don't listen to their music. I just like know of him.
Run the Jewels are insane though. And did you go to the Rage Against the Machine show?
No,
Did you go?
No.
Oh,
My cousin did.
I'll go fuck myself.
those tickets sold out like crazy, and then they were so expensive.
Yeah.
Well, they were $200 flat for anywhere you sat. Yeah, whether you were on the floor or up in the nosebleeds, they made it $200 flat everywhere.
Oh.
And
Interesting.
I bought them before the pandemic at $200 for the nosebleeds because that's all I could get. Then the pandemic hit and it got postponed by like 2 years. So when it got postponed, I returned my tickets because I knew a bunch of other people would be doing it, and then I used that to buy the like Saturday night show, and I got lower.
Nice.
I returned my tickets and then bought better seats.
Sweet.
But anyways, just because you were talking about Tech Nine, I kind of figured in the same sort of element, and it was just making me ring a bell to the fact that like I was like, am I going crazy?
No, you're good, man. Number 6, Orion.
Number 6, I have Goldfinger.
Oh,
Love Gold.
Yeah, and not only that's because like the whole Tony Hawk kind of phase. I know I'm kind of bouncing from like the less rock more talk thing from Guitar Hero, but like Tony Hawk was a really big influential thing for me to like open up to a different kind of music genre as well. And like Goldfinger was definitely like one of those
OG
songs.
punk.
Yeah, and it kind of got me into that. And like even some of the smaller bands that were like around here in Toronto, like the Johnstones. I don't know if you've ever heard of. Yes, no way. Yeah. I played a show with them like a long ass time ago, and they had trumpets. They were like ska, kind of dancey shit.
Toronto had a
It was
wild
good.
ska scene back in the
Yeah. So yeah, that's where I kind of put like Goldfinger. So like, I was like really excited for like kind of that era.
I didn't put Goldfinger on my list just because I figured it was too close to the things that I still listen to. So it's like, yeah, I feel like it would be obvious. Like when we were young, I prioritized Goldfinger's set.
It is as well.
But it's also funny how video games influenced so many of our music tastes as well, right? Like Guitar Hero, Tony Hawk, like that was what got us into a lot of those things. My next one, totally out of left field though, although I did mention Call Me Maybe before. Carly Rae Jepsen. I got a couple of favorites on here.
Oh, yeah.
And I think so many people just write her off because Call Me Maybe was just this big, massive hit. And then that's all people will ever think of her. But if you actually go into her other discography, like the rest of her discography, she's actually a brilliant pop artist.
Ooh.
And she wrote one of, in my opinion, the best pop albums of all time with Emotion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
interesting.
It's a bold statement.
It is a bold statement, and she has a very like big cult following, and I really think that her team or whatever really fumbled the bag when it came to Call Me Maybe, like following it up, because they followed it up with I Really Like You. And I Really Like You was very much along the same vibe as Call Me Maybe, but it wasn't as big or catchy as Call Me Maybe. But if they just sort of went with one of her other songs that were a bit of a different style, I think that like Run Away With Me, if that was her next single, I think she would be fucking huge instead of being a one-hit wonder. Because that was the way, that was the start to her Emotion album. And like I said, I honestly think that album from start to finish, musically as a pop artist, it gets a lot of respect within like the music critic world and within her cult following, but nothing really outside of that. And I think, once again, going back to the fact that I think her team fumbled the bag when it came to following it up, which is really unfortunate, but she's a great artist, and you might see me driving down the street listening to Carly Rae Jepsen, and now you won't be surprised.
Now, what I'm hearing is that bands need to hire you for their marketing plans, release plans.
Exactly. Shoot me a message.
Number 6 for me, talking about the dubstep a little bit, is Nero, this electronic trifecta that I first got introduced to them through their remix of their song Promises, which was a remix by Skrillex. So then I went back and checked out their actual material, and they have this album from 2011 called Welcome Reality Plus, which I think is probably the best electronic album of all time. I fucking love this album. It's got like their vocalist sings over like the dubstep that they're creating, so it's all like in-house. I just really love them. So, and this was kind of funny because I was going back and making my list last night, and I was listening to this album again, like, oh my God, like the feels, the nostalgia. And I actually found that they're still making music, and they put out a song just this year, so I'm gonna start listening to them again.
There you go.
Never even heard of them.
Yeah, I know, you should check them out.
All right, what do you have at number 5?
Number 5, I put Jake Hill on there.
Yes.
Because, and there's many reasons. I just think he's a really good like artist in terms of like being out there with his rap, the rock, the
mixing in like the.
Yeah, I mean, he was on like a Browning track doing screams, and then he has like his whole like punk rock kind of album, and then like a little bit of like a pop album. So like, I just respect him as an artist and being able to go out in the world and do whatever he wants to do at that time. And I just think he's pretty good with the whole like content creation stuff and like using TikTok and whatever he's got to do to like, you know, get his music out there. And honestly, I just like it. They're like the sword is just like an awesome fucking song. And then there's been a couple bangers where it's like just complete rap throughout the whole entire song, and then just this heavy metal breakdown in it. So yeah, that's where I kind of put that as a different genre.
Similar artist that I wanted to include on my list that I didn't end up just I thought it was too close is Nothing Nowhere, where he did that.
Yes.
Album
they were on the last like Wage War tour. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Really good album.
Kind of like adjacent.
Yeah,
true.
It's like the emo rap bringing in like metal influences, especially because they brought in bands like Under Oath and like people like that to really, like just take those tracks to the next level. Love that.
For me at number 5, Kendrick Lamar.
My number 5 as well.
Is he? Yeah, like talking about, you know, going to see him live. I think he's just one of the most talented rappers of all time.
I would love to, yeah.
So it was like that was it for me. As I was kind of like, I really want to see him. He just released that album, his last album, and I was like, I really want to see him in concert. I know it's a lot of money, but I'm like, I'm gonna spend the money once so I can see it and kind of like knock it off the bucket list a little bit.
Yep.
And it's just there's something to value about actually putting on a show. Like, it's funny. Like, I put a lot of value in stock into bands that can just go up there in jeans and a t-shirt and fucking play their songs and everyone goes crazy. And like, I love that. But also I can really appreciate sort of the stage value that goes into seeing someone and bringing out dancers and different effects and things like that. Like,
when you're a solo artist, you have to put a lot more emphasis into like making your performance engaging.
True.
Which is where I really I saw that when I went to this show last year, which I'll talk about later. But
yeah, it's like I can value and respect both.
Yeah, you know? For sure.
So I guess we have the same number 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the same one. Good Kid, Mad City is my favorite rap album of all time. I think To Pimp a Butterfly gets credited as like one of the best rap albums of all time, but for me, it's Good Kid, Mad City.
But honestly, both of them. Yeah, like both of them, I think to me, in like taste wise, I think both sort of hold the same sort of value.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I love how you're like mentioning like their stage presence and stuff like that, because like when I go to like metal concerts and that, you're kind of just waiting for that whole like, jeans t-shirt. There's not like a lot to it. You got the band members kind of, rocking out and stuff. But like where I was kind of like very seeing like where a lot of that kind of comes from is like Motionless in White and Ice Nine Kills.
I was just gonna say,
wow, blew me away with their stage
they basically
presence.
do their music videos on stage.
Yeah, they act a lot of the stuff out there. They have dancers come out. Like I was very impressed with Motionless in White and like the dancers that were coming out. It almost seemed like more of like a Britney Spears kind of pop kind of situation.
It's almost like that old school metal concert from back in like the 80s with like Motley Crue, where they put on their shows with the pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dancers and all of that type of stuff, but like bringing it back, I feel like you could just like, I just respect both.
Of course, yeah. You could see where it influences each other as well. Even in the pop culture or the rap culture, where like they're bringing on like either metal artists and like look at what's her name, something stable, that did the Spirit Box combined thing. Oh my god.
I
forget her name.
The Stallion.
Megan Stallion. That's it. Sorry. Yeah. Like she's a big giant rapper, and then brought on Spirit Box on it. So like you see it kind of like going back and forth now. So
I love seeing the genres cross and working together.
I listened to their interview on the Downbeat podcast, and they said that Megan actually asked for more Courtney on the track.
Oh, really?
Like they sent the original mix, and they was like, "No, we need to make it more Spirit Box." So I think
that's neat.
Yeah. All right, what you got at number 4?
Number 4, I have Queen.
Oh, nice.
I'm a big Queen fan, and I think that just kind of goes like where I grew up with my family. It's more of that pop kind of realm, rock, but like Queen, there's like Mustafa is like one of my favorite songs by Queen. And then just watching like the documentary video on Netflix was awesome. I think we need more fucking videos like that, but that's where that sits.
Freddie Mercury's a legend.
He is a legend.
My number 4, my 4 and 3 are both kind of emo adjacent, but they're like emo rap. I'm not going to talk about both, but I'm just like giving you the heads up. I did kind of have a little bit of the emo adjacency there, but I have Lil Peep at number 4.
Okay,
so I'm like, it's emo rap, but it's not emo. Like it's just, I don't know.
It's still rap. It's in a rap
to me,
genre.
it's like SoundCloud rap, it's emo rap, like I don't know, but I just put that there because so I went really heavy into that emo rap for a while through like the late 2010s, and Lil Peep is probably one of the more influential artists that I still got his records on vinyl, and I'll still throw them on every now and then, and so,
I didn't get too into like I listened to Juice WRLD a little bit, but that was basically my cutoff.
I did a couple Juice WRLD reactions, and that was about it. But like I don't think I've ever listened to Lil Peep.
For me, it was Lil Peep, it was Juice WRLD, it was XXX Tentacion, which that's a whole other thing. Trippie Redd, I liked early stuff. Like I went really hard into all of that throughout that time.
Gotcha.
And every now and then, like I definitely come out of that phase a lot more, but every now and then I'll kind of go back to some of the hits, and I'm still like, oh, okay, yeah, this actually still holds up. I still like this.
Hell yeah.
Solid. My number 4 is NF.
Yes.
Yeah. I love it.
I should have threw that on there. Yeah.
This was who I saw last year. Put on a crazy performance.
Oh, you got to see him live. That's
at
cool.
Scotiabank. It was also a really cool experience because like my little brother's into rap music, but like we didn't have that much overlap. And then when I asked him if he wanted to go to NF, that was kind of like our Venn diagram where we came together. So it was like a cool bonding experience.
Nice.
But NF has some of my favorite records of like The Search I just love that record.
Yeah.
And the new album was
good. I listened to that whole album.
So yeah, when I heard like most of it live, it was phenomenal. And he has like a very similar cadence to Eminem, who's like one of my favorite rappers of all time. So
is that your number 1?
It's not number 1, but it's
but it's cool because like I feel like a lot of metal people love his
There's
stuff
definitely
as well.
an overlap between metal people and NF for whatever reason.
I don't know, but it's there.
He does
But
have
it's
that
kind of
like
that,
aggressive rap.
nothing nowhere kind of thing. Like it's some rappers can kind of mesh well within like the metal or punk worlds.
Yeah, I don't know. He does it well. Like he has pretty aggressive raps. Like the flows get quick. I don't know. It's really good though.
Who do you have at number 3?
Number 3, I have a band called First Aid Kit.
Okay.
And they're a folk band.
I love that.
Yeah, it's very hard to explain, but they're two
Give me a
sisters.
comparison point, like Memphis and Sons. But when I hear folk rock, I think Mumford and Sons immediately.
No, but Mumford and Sons is really fucking sick. Like I know them more from like the radio kind of listening days, I guess.
Yeah.
Listen to that. I don't know how to explain them. My fiance got me into them, and we actually saw them live at Echo Beach, and they put on a great show.
Sweet.
They have like just this awesome accent as well, and it's just very enjoyable to listen to. I don't know. I just like every time my wife puts it on, I'm like, I know this song, and it like their flow is just very cool and different and unique. But like a lot of their live stuff, they just kind of go out to the streets and just kind of like play just for themselves, and like it's just cool to see like everybody responses to it. It's very different but very calming at the same time, and just kind of helps me, you know, escape from metal in a way.
Yeah, first aid
Sometimes
kit,
you just
showed up.
need something that's easy to listen to.
Yeah.
For me, my number 3, going back to the emo rap, Juice WRLD. We just had this conversation.
Oh yeah, nice.
Honestly, I remember the day that he died. I was at work and I was on Twitter and I saw like a notification, and I remember being like devastated. Like I loved listening to his music, and I also was going to go and see him live, but then I was like, I'm going to go see him next time. And I didn't buy tickets, and there was no next time. And I think that I'll always sort of like regret that.
Yeah, that
like
sucks.
not going to see, you know, an artist before they die, especially because
You hold on to that.
yeah, you really do. And like, I really loved his music, and he just did it better than I think. And he just did it better than a lot of other people. And I even think after he died, when they came out with the Legends Never Die record, like that was also a perfect record, especially after an artist you know,
posthumous album.
yeah, so it was just, you know, that's one of those things where I think if you like rap or emo rap, I think a lot of kids that grew up in, because I was definitely on the higher end of the older end of that main demographic for that genre, but I think a lot of the kids that sort of grew up and were younger listening to that, like that's one of those records. Both of his other record as well, which I'm blanking the name of it now, the one with the cars and the cartoons on it, but those 2 albums I think kids will hold on to for a long time, and they'll look back to, and the nostalgia will really hit hard with those 2. I feel like they'll last a very long time, so that's why I'm kind of putting him up there with that as well.
Gotcha. My number 3 was Skrillex, which we kind of talked about earlier. I said before, the Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites EP, and then the Bangarang EP really introduced me into electronic music, and that's where I found my love for like dubstep. But then he's done a bunch of shit that like with like rappers and even metal bands that have been like so cool. Like he did the song on A$AP Rocky's album Wild for the Night, which I absolutely loved. And then he did that crazy mashup album with Korn in 2011.
Oh yeah.
Get Up.
Yeah. There was like a whole Korn album like that, wasn't there? Yeah.
Skrillex is on like half of that.
Yeah.
He was kind of like driving that, I think, but a couple of good songs there. But
I've heard more of that Korn more than like the old Korn. Probably.
Damn. Okay, not me, but yeah, no. Skrillex had also some of my favorite remixes of all time, like the Avicii Levels remix.
Yeah,
so iconic. There's a Cinema remix that's also so good, but I don't know. Skrillex was dubstep.
Yeah, same.
What you got at number 2?
Number 2, I have a band called Amy Shark.
Amy Shark.
Yes. So again,
not
Baby Shark. No, Amy Shark.
Shark.
So, I'm surprised she hasn't done a
right now
comment.
is going to hate me because Baby Shark will officially be stuck into their head for the next week.
Well, did you see?
All you gotta say is do. Done.
Fuck, who was it? I think it was Little Big. They just did like a song called Shark something, and I did a reaction to it, but it was like, it was Hard Shark or something like that, Hard Fish, and it was kind of like that, but it was weird. But yeah, Amy Shark is I don't know how to describe it, but it's like they have a song with not Tom DeLonge, Mark Hoppus on it.
Oh, okay.
I feel like you just need to like listen to it because it's like one of my favorite songs with her. But like some of her lyrics are just so good. It's almost like on the vibe of like Tom DeLonge in Angels and Airwaves, but like in a very pop way. But the one with Mark Hoppus is like one of my favorite songs with her right now. And
There's one with Travis.
no, Mark Hoppus, Amy Shark, I just forget the fucking song name.
Wait a second. Oh yeah, it's Psycho.
Yeah, listen to this part. Like this, I'm gonna make you guys listen to it now.
Love Monster is the album, 2018.
It's just so simple, so flowy. But the Mark Hoppus vibe is so good. Yeah, you can fast forward to the Mark Hoppus part if you want, but she's got a great vocals.
Okay. Yeah, it's almost as if Mark Hoppus was
Yeah.
That's such an interesting pull.
Caroline. It's got cool like licks in there, the lyric lips. Yeah, it's good. That's good shit. I've been vibing them hard like the last like couple months, so I feel like that just needs to be in there.
More. Yeah, that was super cool.
You mentioned ASAP Rocky with Skrillex. That's who my number 2 is.
Oh, really?
Oh, shit. Nice.
Yeah. ASAP Rocky is probably
long live.
Yeah, he's probably my favorite rapper, to be honest. I know like probably not the greatest rapper. That conversation's, outdone, but personally my favorite, like the rapper that I go to the most that I'll throw on, and it helps that also my fiance really enjoys him. In fact, she's the one that told me about him.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, At Long Last ASAP is my favorite record from him. And that one is just like no skips, start to finish. You just like, you get into the mood. It's a vibe. And that's just all it is with me for ASAP. I don't know. He's different than other rappers and I love it. It's a vibe.
Sick.
What more can I say?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's very fair. My number 2 was Eminem, obviously teased earlier. It's my favorite rapper of all time. There was a time for like a full year and a half, 2 years where I only listened to Eminem.
Oh,
it's kind of concerning. Questionable lyrics aside.
Yeah.
Don't judge me too harshly, but like I was a massive fan, and this was the most expensive concert I ever paid for. I saw him when he dropped The Monster with Rihanna. Right before, I think it was the Marshall Mathers LP2 came out. They did a co-headlining show at Comerica Park, and I paid like $300 USD to be on the floor, like insane. But it was still like one of the greatest shows I've ever been to.
Wow.
I'll never forget it. But the Eminem show, Encore, the Marshall Mathers LP, the Slim Shady LP.
I feel like Eminem should probably be on all of our lists.
It should be. I just don't listen to it enough to maybe put it on there.
It's one of those things where like I get reminded of it where I won't listen to Eminem for like ever, and then I'll go home and somebody will put on like Lose Yourself. I'm like, oh my God, I have to go back and listen to the entire.
I got to go watch the movie now.
Yeah.
Like, 8 Mile. Like that was an awesome movie.
Like, a year or two where it was just straight Eminem all the time.
Oh,
And
yeah?
it was like around like the 12th grade for me.
Okay.
And it was just like a lot, like in the summer, it was just Eminem nonstop driving up to the cottage or to the beach or whatever. Right. But, I don't know. The thing is for me, and I think probably the reason why I left him off my list is because I haven't gone back and listened to him in a very long time.
Yeah, it's his new stuff. He's just, in my opinion, he's just call it quits. Like, just let your legacy live on. You don't need to put out more music.
He dropped an album that was really good, and it was the one that went after MGK and made MGK go after him. It was that, I forget what the album was called, but that whole album as a whole was actually a really good album for that time. But I haven't gone back and like re-listened to it. But when it came out, I listened to it a whole lot.
Yeah, the only thing I've really listened to recently was that collab he did with Juice WRLD, Godzilla.
Oh yeah, I think I reacted to that one. That was a good music video too.
From the movie Venom, he did like the theme song.
He still got it. Honestly, in my opinion, the guy still got it. He's dropped a couple of flop albums sort of between his prime and now. He still has the ability to be like the greatest and all of that. Like he can still do it.
I still give him the title. Like I think after Rap God, he really tried to focus on like the speed rapping, and I'm like, go back to the shit you're like good at too. Like you can do it, sure, but like you don't have to just do that. You know what I mean?
But did he do it or did the fake Eminem do it?
NF?
No, Eminem.
Oh.
Yeah, we're going down conspiracy light now.
Get over, man.
Or next, we're going to start talking about the Avril Lavigne.
Yeah.
Here
What's her name?
I think
Melissa, I think it is. Yeah.
All right, but you got a number one.
Yeah,
I'm
intrigued. Number one.
No, we're at number 2. Oh, wait. So, sorry, my number 2, I had 2. Another one that I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't put this one at number 1. I mean, I guess I could because, like,
give us a 1A, 1B.
Yeah, 1A, 1B, I guess. But, like, Hardy, I think is another good one that I've been really getting into, especially, like, off of Beartooth.
Did you get into it from the Beartooth feature?
The Beartooth feature afterwards, but there was another one that he did. What was the other collab that he did?
I don't know. I don't really listen to Hardy.
Yeah, pull up Hardy
here.
because there was a couple of them, but the first one it was with Jeremy McKinnon.
What?
What? What?
I'm sorry, who?
Jeremy McKinnon. He's got a song with Hardy. Have you not heard it?
Oh, yeah, I do remember this.
Yeah. So like that's the thing. The whole genre blending stuff, like that's what got me into it. And then they did another song with Beartooth. But like I like his country vibes in a way. Like I just it's different. His hooks are there. It's got some cool pop influences.
Exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's called Radio Song. This isn't your radio song. And it's got like a little bit of a breakdown in it, but it's still country.
Oh, yeah, radio song. Yeah, Hardy.
There you go.
And Jeremy McKinnon.
Yeah.
2023 album, The Mockingbird and the Crow.
I haven't listened to the whole album, but like I've been vibing the Hardy vibes.
I forgot about that completely.
Yeah. So I just respect him as like an artist, the genre blending. He's apparently like a really good live performer as well. And
could see that.
and just hearing it from like
Energy-wise.
Caleb himself, like the guy just sounds like a really nice guy. And like, I think he just dropped a new song too that has some really good hooks in it. And I fuck with that outside of metal. It's cool. Yeah. As much as every metalhead hates to say it that they like a little bit of country, but honestly,
Oh,
like
that's
some of the
fair.
country stuff out there is it's hitting sometimes.
Love that. What do you got for 1B?
1B is
Or do you want to come back and do
Or is
it?
it one
Yeah.
we can finish.
I know my one is like I'm kind of a line, but like I grew up on the whole, you know, the emo punk rock phase. So like Blink-182, Newfound Glory, 4 Year Strong, Sum 41. Those are like all my number ones, man.
It's a top
like,
16 now.
Yeah. The pop punk era.
yeah, the whole alphabet number one. Yeah,
Had to cheat the system 101.
yeah, exactly.
My face just gotten weird from top 16.
Dude.
So did OurSpace.
Couldn't you do that with MySpace? You could actually like hack it to like have more slots in there. I just did that.
My number one is Post Malone.
Oh, sick.
So
Nice.
with Post Malone, we talked about the concert that I went to, all of that, but he's just one of those guys where I think going back to my first pick with Childish Gambino, where like everything he touches turns to gold.
Yeah.
And not just that, it's like I know he's outside of the genre and he creates pop songs. At one point he was doing rap songs. It's just for me, everything he touches turns into gold. And there's just so many influences and respect for a lot of the things that I grew up on that he likes, that you can hear. Like he's a really big Nirvana fan. I remember for New Year's, like 2020, throughout the pandemic, he did like a full
Travis
set.
Barker thing with
Travis
MGK.
Barker, and then you know, like, dude, he was spotted at a bunch of hardcore shows. Like, he was
Emo
not
nights.
at, I don't know, emo nights. He was at a Drain show with like a homemade Drain shirt. Like, I was like this dude's
It's
fucking,
it's
like,
cool.
It's cool. I love him.
Whenever people bring up Post Malone, I always like to bring this up in case you haven't heard the story, but you know he was almost in Crown the Empire.
No,
I kind of heard about
He
that.
auditioned to be the guitarist for Crown the Empire, and his strings broke in the audition. Didn't get the spot, and now he's the biggest fucking.
Wow.
right? Like, so,
Crazy.
like, that's just it. Like, he's
But he's like a hardcore kid.
yeah, he's a hardcore kid. He's into grunge. He's into metal. He's into punk. Like, he's into all these things, and you can kind of hear those influence in a lot of his songs. And even though he writes pop songs, I respect him too, because like he also still sort of supports that community in that scene, and he knows his shit. And I think there's just so much respect there, on top of the fact that he also makes great songs.
Yeah.
I think he's just a very humble person as well. Like a lot of the videos that I do see, the latest one that I can just kind of relate to is like he was just like randomly on a street, saw a kid with like his guitar, and he told this kid to like smash his guitar like Post Malone does, and he's banging it, and he just takes it and he asks him, "You sure you want me to break this for you?" Just like on video, and smashed it. And it's just really cool to see him and just interact with other people. Like he's this big, you know, artists that it's just probably one of the humblest down
And if
people.
you don't know who he is, like you'd run into him. Like I don't know who you don't know who he is now in 2024, but if you didn't, he's very intimidating with like all the face tattoos and all that.
And
but
he's far from.
he's just like, he seems like he's this big teddy bear. And I'm like, I want to.
Just somebody you want to have a beer with.
Yeah, beer with you and hang out and chill. Like that's so. Yeah, I just so much respect for him and his
I
music.
agree.
So that's why I have to put him at number one.
That's very.
That's a good point.
My number one, I don't think anybody would be expecting it, but it's Halsey.
Ooh,
I can
Halsey.
see that. She's got that
Yeah.
pop punk sort of adjacency.
I only know her from the MGK app. That's it.
And she was on the Post Malone album too, and it kind
Yeah,
of
Die For Me is such a good song.
Interesting.
But Manic is one of my favorite records of all time, like regardless of genre. It was my favorite album of 2020. Like, it's weird because in 2020, my number 1 and 2 were Manic, and then Lorna Shore's Immortal. Very different vibes, but like I find Halsey has a way of just like showing emotion with every single lyric that she delivers.
I gotta go on that
like,
then.
Manic Badlands is also like one of my favorite records. Saw her last year or 2 years ago at Butt Stage, and it was like one of the best shows ever too.
Wow,
Awesome.
Super cool.
That's a good
She
one.
did like a collaboration with Bring Me too, and it's called Experiment on Me for the Birds of Prey soundtrack. Song goes hard as shit too.
Was there a music video for that one?
I think there is. I think it's like with the movie.
Yeah, that's a movie set, and there's water floating up. I
I think so. Yeah.
I think I remember that
She's one of those artists that I think, yeah, like you can respect her even if you don't like her music. You can like respect the work that she's done. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like there's like genuineness to like I don't know, the way she sings. It just like speaks to me for whatever reason,
Interesting.
but love it.
That makes me want to go back, just the way that you're explaining it, or not go back, but like go check out some of
Definitely
their
should.
stuff
Yeah,
now.
Manic was like her latest album. If I Want Power, or If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power. It didn't like connect with me as much, but Manic is like so good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Well, these are our top 8s. I want to know who the audience is most surprised by.
That's a good question to ask.
Was it you with Sum 41 and all your pop punk?
Yeah, that number one, that one sucked. That was just
Shocking. Was it Post Malone?
Maybe
Was
the
it
folk
Halsey?
rock. I don't know. That
Give
is
it the
pretty
folk
surprising.
rock.
The folk rock is, yeah, like I don't really tell a lot of people that. I don't react to that kind of stuff either. I would love to. Like Amy Shark right now is like which should probably be on my number 1 right now because of my fiance introducing me to this. And she's a huge metalhead. Like she's more or less got me more into like Polaris, Architects, a lot of the small bands that I'm like she has more of an ear for like bands that should be popping off right now more than I do. Like when
Really?
she suggests a band that she just randomly hears, like If I Were You, she recommended to me.
Oh,
Saving Vice, she introduced me to as well.
Nice
And
homies.
that's the thing is like she has a really good ear for that. So like when she introduces me to like some of the newer stuff, I'm like, this is actually good. And like sometimes I get bored with it or be like, yeah, whatever, put it on. I listen to metal all day, every day. So to hear some of this stuff, it just kind of like caught my ear for
No,
it.
that's
So
very fair.
yeah,
So there's like an oversaturation if you listen to too much of the same thing. So even revisiting some of these artists the past few days has been just nice for like a change of pace.
yeah. And this makes me want to, even just having these conversations and hearing your guys' perspective.
Some of these songs make me less sad.
Hey, all that emo rock that you're listening to.
It's like, am I sad because of the music I'm listening to, or am I listening to this music because I'm sad?
Which came first.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg? But yeah, so I'm curious to know what people are most shocked by. So leave that in a comment. And please remember to rate and review, like, and subscribe, depending on where you're watching or listening to this episode. And thanks again
big thank you
for coming
again
on to
to-
the show, Ryan.
Dude, it's been a pleasure. The last couple episodes here, I've just been having a blast with. It's out of like something that I would like usually do. So like, or do like on a podcast kind of setting, but this is way cooler. It gets us like more in depth with like different conversations. I mean, I can react to a song and tell you, yeah, it was good guitar, good breakdown, nice wicked blech. I slap my mic around, but this just generates a little bit more conversation, especially around music. We as like metalheads, I feel like we do listen to stuff outside of that. And I feel like me being
It's
a
okay
content
to.
creator,
You're allowed to.
yeah, like that's the thing. It's like being a content creator. Like I'm stuck in a niche, so I don't get to talk about these things at all. Or
Does it ever feel like you might be judged if you talked about something else outside the niche, or is it just because like algorithmic things?
I feel like it is very algorithm. Like the algorithm fucking is like not on my side with that. But like I've done reactions to like MGK and like their punk album and stuff was like very nostalgic for me because there wasn't a new Blink album or there wasn't anything like big in that sense and that. So that's where I got hyped for that. And like I had friends that were still in the country at that time, like Wyatt Staff, to like listen to that stuff with.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good time for that kind of stuff. So like I'm looking forward to like maybe either putting more reactions on a different channel. Just I don't care anymore at the same sense, but like my metal community is still like my Orion page where like I have another page where I'm like, yeah, let's check out some fucking Post Malone or something like that. Cause like I know he's a great artist. I've seen some cool live stuff where he screams and that, where like I just think it'd be a cool reaction for myself just to like kind of educate myself just a little bit more outside of the metal realm.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and giving us the opportunity to let your audience get
Oh
to know you a
yeah,
bit better.
thank you. Make sure you fucking subscribe.
You heard the man.
If you want some more content like this, hit the subscribe button, like this video, let us know down below what you thought.
That's a YouTube content creator.
Yeah, it's like embedded in my brain.